Okay, this is part 2. It's still February the 5th, 2022. So once again, it's launching the wind by Bey. I'm walking. This is the Shell here. I just walked past the military store. So once again, dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. And I was talking about the war on health, because when you think of war, I think what people don't do, and when you think of the coronavirus and health, so people were speaking about the contradictions of the solutions to get rid of the coronavirus and heal the nations. But they left out, they don't talk about the spiritual and mental aspects of the coronavirus and other pandemics problems in reference to viruses and diseases. So when you to think of a unnaturalized military force that are able to harness and use unclean spirits that can force mentally engage your entire sheath to cause you to experience a false emotion that can make you feel good, make you feel at ease, which that is creating a world. So what they're trying to do is be a god in your world. They're trying to be a god in a world. So if they can give you a false reality of what's going on, where you think everything is okay, you're going with the flow, and not only that, you react upon the emotion. So if they can influence you to act upon the emotion that they download, or which is not a download, what they're doing is, because I've already experienced this too many times, is using unclean spirits with, I always say the telepathic code is a science to force engage and actually cause you to experience different emotions and thoughts, replicating your inner voice, replicating your voice. So if you're not able to quiet your mind and study yourself, then you would never know. If you do not quiet your mind, or you have an idea about the telepathic code, you would never know. And this is why and how so many people can go into debt. So many people can go into debt, and so many people can experience sickness, and they don't have a reason or an excuse why. Or why they overeat, why they undereat, why they crave certain drugs, why they're alcoholics. So getting back. So I'm not accusing the pale-skinned guy that came into work and was sitting there with the Navy attire. But I'm just giving a sequence of events. After he went to go sit down and eat, once again, the machine, credit card machine, it didn't do this all day. I never seen it behave that way, but it didn't work with his first order. So Phyllis told me to go to the next order. So I went to the next order. Not next order, but next register. So I went to the next register and I finished his order. And then I noticed I was experiencing false emotions and thoughts to connect with Morris. Now, I've already, that Morris that are connected to you, I've already had these thoughts before or thought about it. But so if you have unnaturalized military forces studying and stalking you, and because they're trying to be a god and create a world for you, okay? So, and not only that, if they are artificial intelligence, unnatural, then it would make even more sense why they would try to implement such falsity and unnatural, falsity, false reality, false truth, and unlawful behavior. Islam. Okay, so as I was earning money, I just noticed I was having all these false emotions. Now remember, this is what I know. If unclean spirits that are used as a weapon can force engage your body sheath to make you feel well, make you feel happy, make you feel sexual, make you feel like everything's okay, well, they can also make you feel depressed. Islam. They can make you feel depressed. They can make you feel angry. So it goes both ways. Okay? They can make you feel anxious, irritated. A lot of times people are on medication. So now I spoke about this in my video when I was exercising. Unnaturalized military being in connection with corrupt health facilities. When I say corrupt health facilities, I mean like the hospitals, the medical centers, corrupt banks, the pharmaceutical companies. Okay? How many Americans, or I won't say Americans, or people in this landmass who are diagnosed with some form of mental illness, and they have to go to the hospital. So just a week ago, approximately, Moore's posted how the hospitals are controlled by a pharmaceutical agency or some form of a bank where they create lifetime patients. So they're saying that they said hospitals. I don't think they said some. Cause I always say some, because I think some hospitals are actually created for healing still, and they're not trying to just make a profit. But this post said hospitals have been created to maintain lifelong patients. Medical centers. So when you're dealing with unclean spirits that can send false emotions of happiness, joy, comfortability, make you feel comfortable, I told you about how some black Negro males or Spanish-speaking male trying to make you feel like you want to be a part of them. Because if you are engaged and possessed mentally, if they're engaging and entering your sheath while you're sleeping, they're hoping that one day when you look at them, the unclean spirit, and approach them, when they approach you, you won't look at them as unclean, filthy, and abomination. That is the purpose of spiritual possession. And that is also taking forced amalgamation the next step further. I never forget, I'll use this thought because I experienced this thought before. I'm experiencing a fourth thought right now. I'm going to use it. This comedian spoke about how you would see unattractive black women or females with good-looking black males. Okay? And they kept saying it was because of the sex. But they weren't talking about what I'm talking about now, which is dealing with truth. Because those that have the telepathic code and that are able to do this, they've been doing it for a long time. And so these males and females They've been relying on spirit possession to breed, have sex for a long time. So I keep telling you about how I keep hearing people around the Senate state say brother like an animal with a black Negro accent. So once again, the comedian was like, you ever ask yourself why or how in the world did this unattractive black female get this good looking male that's successful? Or how can this man leave his wife and his home to go be with this black female that looked like that definitely something's wrong with her because of spirit possession? And they've been distributing telepathic code for a long time. But everybody didn't have it. And I know that because I'm one of them. I'm one of the ones that don't have the telepathic code. And I come from the South. So when you're dealing with unnaturalized military males and females that are exposed to technology and sciences that's supposed to be used to protect, not rape, not molest, not become a god in somebody's world to be worshipped, but they supposed to be protectorate. But if they are not naturalized and they're being used and they're working for corrupt banks, corrupt hospitals, corrupt pharmaceutical companies, then you can't expect for them to do such things because they're doing what they are created to do. So it sort of brings truth to a lot of what Morris talk about when they speak about World War I, what happened in World War II, when they speak about wars that happened in Vietnam, when they speak about the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, when they speak about certain things of this nature, and some wars know the truth of what's going on and not what the TV put out in the public. Because those military males and females behaving the exact same manner they did when they supposed to have been over there, supposed to be doing what they are supposed to be doing lawfully, because they're upholding constitutional law and representing a country that upholds constitutional laws. So Morris, they know what they're talking about. Islam. They know exactly what they're talking about. If you are a naturalized being, that means if you are more or you are non-more and you naturalized in the military, you have taken an oath or affirmed to uphold constitutional laws of freedom. Constitutional laws of freedom. That means you have taken an oath or affirmed to uphold the U.S.A. Constitution that includes the 13th Amendment with 20 sections. But if you are an experiment, which if they have experiments, artificial intelligence now, they had artificial intelligence during the Vietnam War. They had artificial intelligence when they bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They had artificial intelligence in World War I, World War II. If they have artificial intelligence now, they had it back then as well. So when you're dealing with unlawful military forces or unnaturalized, this is where you hear about rapes. So women, they join the army, they join the navy to defend their country, or maybe they come from a line of military men and women, or whatever reason, or maybe they feel this is a way of giving back, and so they end up they're fighting along supposedly their fellow men and women, and the enemy is in their own regiment. So they don't come back, not because they went overseas to fight the enemy. They don't come back. They come back in body bags because they were raped and murdered by United States military men. So once again, if artificial intelligence experiments and other sciences are used today, they used them back then too. So these are acts of terrorism. And so now it makes sense why so many foreigners have very little respect for unnaturalized military forces. But if you watch TV, they paint a totally different picture. Because those foreigners were there when they were raping, molesting their children and their boys and their wives and their husbands. That's why. Just like they rape and molest now on this landmass, Islam. So when you're naturalized, I can't say everyone that's naturalized is in the military wouldn't do it. I cannot say that, but just to take an oath and affirm, and also have other leaders doing that as well, and demonstrating the importance of the spirit of freedom says a lot. So the thing is, it's interesting to know that I experience false emotions and thoughts, okay, because whatever is engaged is trying to create a world so they can be some form of God. So when military males or female, but predominantly males, when they're raping a little girl, molest a girl, when they're raping a boy or a man, they are trying to show power. So when you are using an unclean spirit with the telepathic code, Islam, to make a person feel a certain way so you can feel like you're some form of God, you're trying to demonstrate power. So that is it. So what that is demonstrating is an animal behavior, and this is in connection to that which the unnaturalized military being used as slaves, chattel property by corrupt banks, pharmaceutical companies, and other agencies, other foreign entities that we don't know about. This is demonstrating what they are truly used for, what they are in this day and time. Islam. I can't tell you how many times a black Negro male will come and smiling in my face after I experience a false emotion, saying brother, or even somebody that speaks Spanish. But I'm not accusing the pale skinned guy that had the Navy shirt on today. I'm just saying while he was there, I was experiencing these things, and I thought it was sort of odd. But I don't know where it was coming from. It's wrong.